Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom, Brother Naquam, Watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashima Mashiach wa Malaki Bashai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahushua. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there that are zealous, diligent, and on fire, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. Shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shabbat Shalom, right? Shabbat Shalom to everybody tuning in live through the spirit and power of Yahweh. Bashmi Abishai. Shalom to DDRS, right? Followers of Yahweh, HBKN. Don Israel Tamid, Yvette McKellar, Server 144K, Ephraimite Ak, Benjamin Youngwolf, Shalom King, Taylor C, Nigel Blends, Brother Believe, Jadis Delphius, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. Right? The topic of this code cut on the Shabbat, it's the days of Lot. The next major prophecy will be volume 1, right? So we somebody asked on a Q&A, back on the Sabbath service that we did, what are the sequence of prophecies that are going to come to pass? And we've touched on that question here and there throughout the years, but I wanted to isolate each prophecy and kind of go a little bit in depth about what prophecies are going to happen through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai in a sequential order, right? Because the Most High, he's not going to have everything happen at once, right? The Most High is not going to have the chariots come at the exact same time that Jacob's trouble begins. That's the exact same time that the economy crashes. That's the exact same time that the kingdom of heaven is built up. No, all of these things happen according to the will and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 11. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. So everything's made beautiful in his time, right? The Most High has created various generations, and they have their strengths and they have the things that they excel at, and there are also things that they may have struggled at, particular generations and their shortcomings of our fathers. Everything's beautiful in his time. That's why you have ages. That's why you have time periods. That's why you have the regeneration of spirits, right? And the cyclical effect of Yahweh Bashmi Shai. And then this time, you're going to have different prophecies that are going to be wonderful and profound in the eyes of man and in the name of Yahweh Bashmi Shai, right? So everything's going to happen at its set time. When Yahweh Shai was on the earth, there were times when they wanted to crucify Yahweh Shai. There are times they wanted to make Yahweh Shai king. There are times where they wanted to force the hand of Yahweh Shai to perform miracles, and Yahweh Shai would always say, "My hour had not yet come," because to everything there's a season. I'm actually read this in the first verse, then I'm gonna get another quick precept, right? So we're going to touch on these prophecies in order as they are written according to their respective season, right? Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. There's a purpose. The Lord has proposed to overthrow Babylon the Great. But is it going to happen right now? Literally right now at this second? No, there are prophecies that have to go before it. Everything's created with a particular purpose. But the Most High, mastering his power and things that are written, things are going to happen on schedule. See, the Most High does everything on schedule. The sun runs its course on schedule. The moon runs its course on schedule. The constellations, they rotate in their schedule. So everything has a purpose, and there's a time for every purpose of man and ultimately for the Most High, right? And I wanted to get this in John, the 7th chapter, just to prove that even Yahweh walk, it dealt with his hour and particular times, right? The Most High is heavy into the times. John 7 and verse number 28. Then cried Yahushua in the temple as he taught, saying, Ye both know me, and ye know whence I am. And I am not come of myself, but he that sent me is true, whom ye know not. But I know him, for I am from him, and he hath sent me. And that's speaking about Yahushua proclaiming during the feast that he was sent from the Heavenly Father. Here's the point of verse number 30. Then they sought to take him, but no man laid hands on him, because his hour was not yet come. And even if they outnumbered Yahushua, even if they had ill intentions and they had plans and devices, it doesn't matter what man wants to do. It's according to the hours that Yahushua has set things up. This wasn't the hour for Yahushua to be crucified. Yahushua was crucified in the 9th hour, right? So during the time of the 9th hour, that's when Yahushua gave up the ghost. There was darkness on the land from the 6th hour to the 9th hour. And then the 9th hour, Yahushua cried, right? So there's a set time for everything. And there's a set time for these prophecies that we have to speak, right? I just wanted to preface this before we actually dive into it, right? There's a set time for the prophecies that we have to speak. And we have to push the prophecies as best as we can through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in a respective order, because that's part of measuring the times. You can't go and say the kingdom of heaven is going to be established before Jacob's trouble starts. You have brothers that saying we're already in Jacob's trouble, right? You have brothers that are still waiting on Deuteronomy 28:68 to be fulfilled, right? You have brothers that are saying the missiles are going to come after the chariots come and beam us up, right? There's a lot of confusion regarding prophecy, right? But we want to kind of touch on this, right? 2nd Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true, right? So what does it mean? These words are faithful and true. It means everything that's written, without a shadow of a doubt, we understand, believe, and know that these things are going to come to pass. Everything that's written is going to come to pass. You're seeing it. You're experiencing wars and rumors of wars, right? You're experiencing overthrowing of governments. Like the Lord said in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, that there will be uproars of the people. You've seen these things in foreign lands, in foreign countries, and somewhat domestically. Everything that's written, it's faithful and true. Verse number 3, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So we don't worry about scoffers and men who don't believe in the Most High. That doesn't trouble us. Did not the Lord say in Romans the 3rd chapter, for what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Let the Most High be true, but every man a liar. Right? Greatly paraphrasing. So we don't care if a Negro don't believe, man. If you say, well, that's the white man's book, or who wrote that book, that doesn't hurt our feelings. We don't toss and turn that in the middle of the night, wondering if the scoffer is true or not. Well, what if these words don't come to pass? What if I'm not an Israelite? No, we don't double think, man. We don't fear that, and it doesn't do anything to the ministry or to our lives. And the Lord said, let not the incredulity meaning disbelief, of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die and their unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So you have many prophecies that are going to come to pass. And one of the major prophecies that are going to come to pass is the economic collapse of Babylon the Great, a systematic collapse of the society when it comes to traffic and when it comes to enterprise and consumers, right? Which ultimately is going to lead to famine, right? Famine isn't just going to happen out of nowhere. Nobody's going to snap their fingers and then automatically there's no food on the shelves, right? And automatically that the people are eating out of trash cans and starving. Now you're going to have some prophecies that are going to happen at the same time, right? When Jacob's trouble is happening, you're also going to have World War III happening, man. You know? So you're going to have prophecies somewhat that cross over, for lack of better terms, that intertwine, but also some of these prophecies are going to work, one after the other. And they're going to slowly kind of cross over, but then one prophecy is pretty much going to take steam, for lack of better terms. So you see somewhat what's going on with the global trade war. If you've been watching, if you were circumspect, if you're paying attention what the Most High is doing on the earth, this is a precursor, regardless if they work things out, regardless if they bow down, if they submit, if they reduce the tariffs, the Most High is giving you a foreshadow of what society is going to be like, right? In terms of famine, and really in terms of a complete societal collapse, right? Let's pull this up. What is an economic, right? Let's see, economic collapse, right? It says, let's see, let's type this in. Economic collapse, also called economic meltdown, is any broad range of poor economic conditions, ranging from a severe prolonged depression with high bankruptcy rates and high unemployment. Men losing their jobs, people getting fired, layoffs, factories shutting down, distribution centers shutting down, warehouses shutting down, supply chain issues, lack of parts, lack of pieces, lack of truck drivers. I was listening to one video. They said there's over 9 million people in logistics, man. And you have major trucking companies, man. You know? And once those things shut down, you're not going to be able to get your goods. So supply chains are going to be affected, man. Right? It says such as the Great Depression of the 1930s to a breakdown in normal commerce caused by hyperinflation, such as in Weimar Germany in the 1920s, right? Or even an economically caused sharp rise in the death rate, perhaps even a decline in population, right? Such as Russia. Often economic collapse is accompanied by social chaos, civil unrest, and a breakdown of law and order. And I'm going to read that again. It reads, often economic collapse is accompanied, right? Meaning whenever you have an economic collapse, it's paired with what? Social chaos. That's why you have panic buying, looting, robbing. You understand? A lack of morals, lack of ethics, burglary, grand larceny, assault, murder, civil unrest, burning of buildings, lack of following government and orders, and a breakdown of law and order. And that's what's coming to America. When we speak of economic collapses, we speak of civil unrest, a breakdown of law and order, and social chaos. And this is prophesied in the Bible, right? Now, when you look at, let me pull this up. I'm going to play a quick clip. Actually, I don't want to play this. I believe it's this. Now, this is Trump admits U.S. citizens may face empty shelves due to tariffs. So I'm going to play the screen. Well, I'm going to share the screen rather. Right. And I'm going to play this quick audio. And this is just the precursor. Right. This is just the precursor of what's going to happen on a major level. And all of the things that you're used to having, you're accustomed to having, the 2/3 and the wicked of our people and these other nations, they're going to be in for horrible times coming, man. Horrible times are coming to the earth. And America it's declining. And it's declining faster than ever. People are rejecting the dollar. The dollar doesn't hold weight like it used to back in the day. Trump is making more enemies. All of their partners of the NATO and the EU are trading and signing with China, man. Shelves are becoming emptier. Prices are increasing. People are laying off people. So things are going to hit home, man. And things are going to hit home fast. So I'm going to play this quick clip. So this is Trump admits U.S. citizens may face severe empty shelves due to tariffs. And they say you may not see it in May. You might see it in June. You might see it in July. They're saying right now people of the world are buying Christmas presents, man. People are looking to buy cars and things. They're buying it early, knowing that the lead time is how long it takes they receive imports and products. They know that the lead time is going to take too damn long. So people are looking to get stuff, man, and they're buying now and they're getting ahead of the game.
And I told you before, they're having tremendous difficulty because their factories are not doing business. They made $1 trillion with Biden, $1 trillion, even $1.1 trillion.
This is fair use. He's talking about China. Even in China, factories are shut down. They're so used to exporting all of their goods to America, they can't. So they're shutting down entire manufacturing facilities. So a lot of these Moabites, man, don't think they're not getting caught out there too. China doesn't just import to America or export to America. So a lot of countries are feeling this thing.
With Biden selling us stuff, much of it we don't need. You know, somebody said, "Oh, the shelves are going to be open." Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30. You know, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But
you heard what he said. He's kind of just saying pretty much he's saying prices are going up and goods are going to be limited. And he's kind of making light of the matter. We'll see how light these modern day Americans take empty shelves and things of that nature. We'll see if looting happens, robbing happens, theft.
We're not talking about
Rewind that a little
$2. Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30. You know, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But we're not talking about something that we have to go out of our way. They have ships that are loaded up with stuff, much of which, not all of it, but much of which we don't need. And we have to make a fair deal. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, but China, I would say, is the leading one, the leading candidate for the chief ripper offer.
And that's hypocrisy. Here it is, the so-called white man saying that the Moabite man is the chief ripper offer. Yet you enslaved billions of Israelites for almost 500 years and haven't gave them anything, but yet the Moabite man is the chief ripper offer. So this is why we call the so-called white man a devil and a hypocrite and a liar. Well, the Most High calls him these things, man. A devil, a hypocrite, the deceiver. Saying Esau has some damn nerve, man, to call anybody the chief ripper offer. Play that again.
The leading candidate for the chief ripper.
You're the leading candidate for the chief ripper offer. Ask Gad, man. You done ripped them off, man. Gave them disease and smallpox and all types of plagues and the flu. Destroyed them, raped their women, slaughtered their children, stole their land, ripped them off, made false legislation, lied, stabbed them in the back, burned them at the stake, chopped off hands and noses. But the Moabite man is the chief ripper offer.
Ripper offer. There has never been.
You hear people kind of laughing, man. See, the people, they're not going to take this serious. Nobody in America takes anything serious, man. They think everything's a game. Everything's going to go back to normal. And everything's just going to be fine. And America's going to become a great nation all over again, like it's the 1940s. So you got people chuckling. Hey, when your stomach start growling, there ain't going to be too much chuckling, man. When you go to your grocery store and the line is a mile long or half a mile long, it ain't going to be too much laughing and chuckling, man. When you finally get into that store and there's only 3 things left, it ain't going to be no more chuckling and laughing. You know? So you got people laughing, chuckling, man, taking these matters lightly. Things are going to get bad. Now, even if they work out a deal, right, and they kind of try to get things back to what they are, ultimately, the major prophecy is still going to happen. This place is going to be shut down. And we're going to prove it in the Bible, man. And you have a lot of Israelites that are hoping that they work something out. If you're hoping that America works something out with China, your mind is bad. And you're not fit for the kingdom, man. Because you're still looking into this world. I'm going to get a quick precept. I'm not going to pull it up on the screen. Let's go to Luke, the 17th chapter. Right? That's why I call this the days of Lot, man. You have actual Israelites that are hoping that a trade deal works out in their favor. We don't want a deal, man. And even if there is a deal, we know that the Most High is still going to shut this place down. Right? Stores, corporations, distribution centers, warehouses, fulfillment centers, commerce, traffic, supply chain, which leads to what? Lack of food, lack of resources, starvation. Right? This is the book of Luke, chapter 17 and 28. Likewise, also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, They bought, they sold, they planted, they built it. So we often talk about the days of Noah, right? But you also have the days of Lot. These are the days of Lot. Who's Lot? Lot is the nephew of Abraham. Abraham's father was Terah, and he had 3 sons. He had Nahor, he had Haran, and he had Abraham. Haran died, and his son Lot was taken in by Abraham. And Lot had wealth, Lot had riches. Lot had so much wealth that he couldn't even dwell with Abraham. Let me get that real quick. He couldn't even dwell with Abraham, man. They had to separate one from another, right? Let's get that in Genesis 13, right? This is the book of Genesis. It's like you. Chapter 13, we get straight to the point. And verse number 5. And Lot also, which went from Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And that's equivalent to having cars, land, resources, right? Houses. And the land was not able to bear them that they might dwell together. For their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together, right? They couldn't keep track of their cattle. It wasn't enough grass to feed all of their sheep. Wasn't enough water to sustain all of their camels. Not enough food for all of their servants. So they had to separate, man. It was too much. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelt then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Abram said, look, this is the law, Leviticus. Even though he didn't have the book of Leviticus, he was taught the law, right? His fathers knew the law. Terah knew the law. Even though Terah was going off, Nahor knew the law. He came from the lineage of the sons of God, right? So he said, let us separate. Let there be no strife. It's not the whole land before thee. And really, the whole land was before Abraham. The Most High gave him the land. But he told Lot, I defer to you because I know the Most High is going to set me up anyway. And that's why he gave Lot that first choice. It's not the whole land before thee. Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou would take the left hand, then will I go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then will I go to the left. So Abram said, look, you can have whatever you want to have. Yahweh Shai, he promised me, I'm going to be okay. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere. Before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest into Zoar. So Lot coveted all of the plain that was good for his cattle. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves one from the other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. See that? So the cities of the plain and pitching your tent toward Sodom represents wickedness, man. You don't want to pitch your tent toward Sodom. You don't want to set yourself up close to anything that's going to cause you to sin. You don't want to hang around weed smokers. You don't want to hang around gamblers. You don't want to hang around dope things. You don't want to pitch your tent towards anything where you may get drawn to those sins or enticed by those individuals. Your tent represents you as a body, right? So Lot, which he shouldn't have done, he shouldn't have pitched his tent towards a wicked, ungodly city. It doesn't matter how much land was there for his cattle and how it was well watered. Satan himself is transformed to an angel of light. A lot of brothers, you put yourself in a situation because you covet, but that situation leads you to destruction because you don't really count the cost. And it's better to dwell in the plain and the grass and amongst the open field than to dwell in the cities of these heathen, man. And pitching your tent towards Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. So in the days of Lot, Lot pitched his tent towards Sodom, but eventually, you see what happened. Lot ended up living in Sodom. And that's what happens, man. You go try to say, look, you know what? I found this nice house. You know, they only want me to pay $500 for rent. It's a 5-bedroom. Or I bought this house. It's a 5-bedroom. It's $1,000 mortgage, whatever. but the house is right next to the strip club. Oh, brother, it's all right. It's all right. I ain't going in there. I don't think you should move there. You got a strip club on the right. You got drug dealers on the left. You got a brothel right here. Yeah, it's cheap, but you surrounded by wickedness and sin. And you just came out the world. Nah, I'm cool. I got it. And that brother bought that house, man. He pitched his tent towards Sodom. Next thing you know, he in the bedroom reading. Then he hanging out on the porch. Then he on the corner. Then he inside the strip club. Then he owns the strip club. So slowly you lead yourself to destruction and damnation. Do not pitch your tent towards Sodom, right? And eventually, in the days of Lot, Lot ended up living in Sodom, right? Genesis 19:1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them and bowed himself with his face toward the ground. Now, the Bible doesn't tell you from the time of Genesis 13 to Genesis 19 how Lot ended up in Sodom, right? But I'm led to believe, it doesn't say, I'm led to believe money was involved, right? Finances was involved, you know? And he was enticed. He ended up living in Sodom. Now, in the days of Lot, what were they doing? We read it in Luke 17. Let's go back to Luke chapter 17. And that's reminiscent about what's going on today. Luke 17:28. Likewise, also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. And that's what America's doing right now. Everybody, they had pitched their tents towards Sodom when they decided to come to America. All these nations pitched their tents towards Sodom in the 1800s when the Moabite man came over here, when the Irish came over here, the Italians came over here. We were forcibly brought to pitch our tent towards Sodom. But all nations pitched their tent towards Sodom and they ended up coming over here. It started with a thought, then it became an action. And when it says they did eat, it doesn't mean, okay, I eat my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner. No, when it says they eat and drink, this goes into revelry, right? Revelry, parties, weddings, concerts, right? Turning up. You got mukbangs, you got freakism, you know? People dining, and they're it's not the fact that they're eating, it's the fact that they're completely in sin and unaware of the judgments of the Most High. They drank, you got drunkards, you got what's that? You got them shows, Drink Champs, where they sit around and they drink liquor and gossip and say sinful things. You got bars that are open lewd hours of the night, liquor stores, freakism. They bought and they sold. So here you have the days of tariffs and the days of economic collapse that are coming. People are still buying and selling as if nothing's going to happen. Things are going to happen, man. And all of the things that you bought, you're going to lose it. You're not going to take this in the kingdom. You can't take this in Jacob's trouble. Everything around you that you have bought, you're not going to take it with you. Your car, your house, maybe you bought a new TV, and maybe you bought a new, I don't know, a new car. You can't take that in the days of judgment. People are selling things. They're starting a business. They have inventions. They're on Shark Tank. They have stocks and trades and bonds. All of your financial enterprises are going to mean nothing when the Lord shut this place down. And these are the days of Lot, the days of traffic, the days of commerce, the days of buying, and the days of selling. But nobody's aware of the judgments on high. People plant it, man. It doesn't mean they're literally planting a vineyard somewhere in Chicago. No, when you plant, it means you have investments. Because people that plant, they're looking for the fruit of their labor, right? You plant an apple seed, you're waiting for the increase. So people are planting ideas. They're getting loans out from banks. They're starting corporations, right? They're getting new jobs. They're setting themselves up financially, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Yahushai. Right, you see that? Coming in hot from an anonymous source. Port of LA says shipping volume will plummet 35% next week as China tariffs start to bite. You see that? I'm going to pull that up too, man. Right? These ports in LA, Oakland, Seattle, they catching hell. You know? And we're gonna touch on all this, man. Right? We're gonna touch on all this. So the water for that, right? See that? Right? But the Lord says they plant it and they build it. It doesn't mean that you can't buy and sell. Doesn't mean you burn all your money right now. You cut up all your credit cards and debit cards. No, what the Most High is speaking about, he's speaking about complete debauchery, revelry, freakism, idolatry, and just ungodly lust, man. Let me go to 1 John chapter 2 and 15. Right? You got people that they're literally at a strip club right now. People are literally thinking about what life is going to be like in 10 years. I got my business for the next 15 years. I don't want to be here the next 15 years, man. Right? That doesn't mean you always got to have a just balance with Jake, because you say something like that, Jake can shave their head off, run into the wilderness, man. And say, well, the brother said, oh, hell breaking loose. Let me just shut everything down. Throw my keys in the ocean. My house keys in the ocean. No, brother. Use the word, but not abuse it. But understand that the fashion of this world passeth away. 1 John 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And you can't be attached to this world, man. See, the world may call you. It may seem like things are going back to normal. Next thing you know, you're spending all these hours at your job. You got all these ideas on how you want to make money 20 years, 15 years, thinking about grandkids. All these thoughts are coming in. Hey, at times you got to shut these thoughts down, man. Because these thoughts are not productive. These thoughts have nothing to do with salvation. Those thoughts are imprisonment. You can't be in love with this world. For all that is in the world, Slakia, you know how Jake be in the world, when they start talking about their job, they say, man, we made a whole bunch of money. Man, we doing good. Brother, hold on. You used to say, I hate captivity. Man, I hate going to captivity. Now you saying, man, we doing good. And you got to check that, brother. Wake up, man. What are you talking about? We're doing good. That's the so-called white man's business, and it's going down. Yeah, you right. Slakia. So some brothers, man, they start kind of getting into this thing, into this world, man. You know? Verse number 16 in 1 John 2. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And that's what this world is about, man. The lust of the flesh, sex, fornication, clubbing, twerking. Everything's about sex and fornication. The music, every movie has a sex scene. Now you got sodomite scenes. You got wicked magazines, free access on the internet to folly and filth. It's just about lust of the flesh. What feels good? Taking shots and getting drunk, smoking, getting high, pills. Everything's about making you feel good. And the lust of the eyes. Gotta have this car. Look at the latest fashion. Gotta have this on this commercial. Look what they're selling. Oh, I gotta have it. Gotta get this. And the pride of life. Nobody can control me. I'm my own God. I have my own motives. I don't need the Most High. That's not of the Lord, man. That's of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Right? He that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Now, let's play this clip again. Right? Let's go back to this.
Every country, and we have to make a fair deal. We've been ripped off by every country in the world, but China, I would say, is the leading one, the leading candidate for the chief ripper offer. There has never been.
Got these people laughing. These men are going to be destroyed, man. They see. We know what's going on. The Most High gave us the secrets. Psalms 25 and 14 on down. Matthew 11, 25 on down. Right? Matthew chapter 11. All these accounts, man. The Lord gave us the secrets. This isn't a laughing matter. These guys are laughing, man. They're going to starve to death.
There has never been a country that's been ripped off more than the United States of America.
There's never been a country that's been ripped off more than the United States of America. Then you rip off Gad. Reuben, Asher, Issachar, Zebulon, even these wicked, filthy Hamites. Then you go to the land of Ham and slice it up like a cheesecake, man. Chop off arms for rubber, enslave, rob, and murder.
Some of the dumbest leadership, and it usually starts with the president. We took over on January 20th. The tariffs haven't kicked in yet. I know that, and I don't want this to happen, but I know that China is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I like the president a lot, President Xi. I don't want it to happen. I was actually saddened to hear it, but
this is a weak system. That's how you know that these are the 10 toes of clay. Here it is, your chief country, your chief enemy who wants to wage war against you. If I'm an Edomite, man, look, and I hear my leader say, I don't want my enemy to be destroyed. I'm actually sad that they're going through it. I'll be hot, man. So America's weak, man. You had these ancient or these older Edomites in the 1800s. They destroyed their enemies, man. Franklin Roosevelt dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, man. I believe that was him. Or the president after him. And these world leaders was giving these heathen hell, man. In Vietnam, they was destroying children, man. Agent Orange and napalm, freakism and murder. Now look at the days of the 10 toes, man. This man said, I'm sad that this is happening to China. Right? So America, you're finished, man. And you're a shadow of your former self.
I just saw some reports happen, but I know that China is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I like the president a lot.
I like the president.
President Xi. I don't want it to happen. I was actually saddened to hear it, but they are getting absolutely hammered in China. And, they're sending boats, the biggest boats in the world, carrying cargo like nobody's ever seen before. These are the biggest boats in the world, biggest cargo ships in the world. And they're coming and they're turning around in the Pacific Ocean. They're doing a big U-turn and going back because they don't want the goods because 145% tariff. But at a certain point, I hope we're going to make a deal with China. We're talking to China, but their factories are closing all over China because we're not taking their product. We don't want their.
He's saying that the factories are closing, and that's true. But also things are getting bad over here, right? So you have these global trade wars going on through the spirit, right? Let me pull this up, right? Let me pull this up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shah, right? So you have major prophecy unfolding. Now, this is what people are beginning to do, right? Panic buying, right? We all know what panic buying is. We talk about it all the time. For those who may not know, right? Panic buying is where consumers, right? The American consumer, your average Joe, the guy who buys from Walmart, Target, Home Depot, etc., right? Department stores, local stores, pharmaceuticals. He begins to panic due to a fear that prices are going to skyrocket, and he begins to panic due to a fear of him not being able to buy the things that he needs when he needs it. So he begins to buy in bulk. And when you have limited inventory and people begin to panic buy, they're buying more than what the retail or what the store has actually ordered. Right? Every store they put their orders in. Right? This is how supply chain works. You source, right? It starts with sourcing to determine where you're going to receive your inventory from, whether it's local, whether it's regional, or rather it's domestic, or rather it's international, right? You have safety stock that you can bring in, right? You have particular lead times that you take into account, right? For your inventory, it may take, some of these companies take 6 months of lead time to bring in particular supplies, depending on what it is. If it's manufacturing or if it's so-and-so, and this stuff takes 6 months to come in, 8 weeks. It can be 3 months, 90 days lead time. So you think that you're going to get your damn, it might be a factory, right? And they need a gear for a car, or they need a gear to make a what's that, a conveyor belt. Hey man, look, that whole factory is going to be shut down because they're waiting on one part. They're waiting on one part. to build that thing. And that part might not come in, man, for 9 months. So the whole facility is shut down. They can't make this stuff, man. This stuff is coming in. You know, people that are material planners, people that are working procurement, you know, hey, these guys know about these things. These guys that are buyers, they work in supply chain. They got to buy these parts, man. They source it. They bring this stuff in. There's lead times. There's dates. There's all types of stuff, man. The world of supply chain. Now, the average Negro, he may not know how supply chain works, right? So he well, nothing's to worry about. I will be okay. No, you're gonna go to that store. That stuff ain't gonna be there. It may not start now. It's gonna start in late June, maybe July. You know, so you got a lot going on, man. Now, this is let me pull this up. I can't keep up. Trump's changing tariffs leave shoppers paralyzed, right? So people are beginning to panic buy. And going back to the point, companies, they bring in a particular amount of inventory. There's only so much capacity that they can hold. And they base their sales based off of how much inventory they have, right? You can only sell what you have. So when people begin to buy more than you expect, you got to order more stuff. But now it's going to take a longer time to order more stuff. So the next guy that, if you go and you buy up everything, the next man that goes to, he ain't going to have nothing. So a lot of people are panic buying, which is going to further disrupt your ability to buy things. People are panic buying bulks of batteries. People are going to start buying up all of the water. And a lot of these stores, they're going to start limiting how much you can buy. They're going to start limiting, hey, look, you can only have 1 case of water. And you can only have this much meat. And you can only buy 1 pack of batteries. Hey, look, man. Some people don't want to hear that. You're going to tell me I can't buy 1 pack of water? Some people, hey, look, I got 8 kids, man. Somebody going to say that. And like I always say, they might comply for a minute. You know, people might comply, be complicit with the laws, and okay, look, I'll buy 1. Maybe I'll come back, you know, in 2 weeks, and I'll buy another. It's going to be signs all on the windows, right? You can only buy this, or buy 2, or we're closing early. Inventory at an all-time low. So people are going to be complicit for a while, and they're going to go, according to the laws, but that's not going to last too long, man. And this guy got a family, man. You told him he can only have 1 loaf of bread. This Negro don't want to hear that. Now, he might not want to steal at first because he knows there's cameras, and he has a conscience. Like, I don't want to steal. Look, I want to do the right thing. I want to, do this the right way. Hey, look, man, but in the back of his mind, when he go home, he gonna have to look his kids in the eye, and they're gonna be starving, man. His woman gonna be upset. He gonna hear them stomachs growling. So he gonna have to think about that 2nd loaf of bread, man. Yeah, they said you can only buy 1, but he gonna have to make a decision. He gonna stuff that loaf of bread right there, or he might take it, man, and just run out the store. Security might stop him, but he might get into it with security, man. They might tussle for a minute. People are watching what's going on. And people that might see that, they might start feeling encouraged. Hey, this guy got away with it, man. Hey, maybe I can get away with it. People are going to get encouraged. It's going to be spirits hopping on people. That's how looting the things happen, man. So you got guys saying, I can't keep up. Trump's changing tariffs leave shoppers feeling paralyzed, right? Now, this says, look at this guy, right? Let's read on. It says, let's see, I want to get straight to the point. It reads, when his camera stopped working on his iPhone recently, New Yorker Richard Medina didn't waste any time. With the threat of tariff-fueled price hikes on smartphones bearing down, he quickly called his phone company for a new one. I said, we got to switch this out now. The 43-year-old recalled, let's take care of it. So these people are feeling pressure, man. The move was a sign of the pressure rising across the United States, where households are being buffeted by what could be staggering price rises and even possible shortages triggered by the sweeping tariffs that U.S. Donald Trump announced this month. Some are trying to stock up. Others say they feel paralyzed, right, by the changes which have come quickly, or hope Trump will change his mind and reverse course. Not an entirely unreasonable hope given the rapid changes in policy. So people are losing their mind, man. People are beginning to lose their mind. I don't know what to do. Why is Trump doing this? You know, I didn't think he would really do this. I thought he was going to make America great again, but my pockets are being affected. Hey, people are beginning to lose it, man. Right? People are beginning to lose it. People are buying, like we went into Luke. They're selling, right? They're planting, they're building, but now they're getting worried, man. Now they're getting worried. Let's go to Ezekiel, right? The 7th chapter, right? So, and you might, hey, your job, man, your job may say, look, we're not hiring anybody. See, when you work at these jobs, man, no matter where you work at, somebody's always handling the money. You always have a finance department. If you work at a major place, you have finance, right? And you have accountants, you have people that manage the inventory, and you have people that actually deal with the company's budget, P&L statements, profit and loss. People handle this. They look at this stuff, man. Some of these companies, they look at stuff to the cent, to the actual penny. Are we over budget? Can we afford this many people? We got this many people on payroll, right? Okay, well, we're going to have to start letting people go. See, a lot of companies, man, they're going to start cutting your amenities. If you got a break room and they giving out free snacks, you're going to start finding out that they're not giving out free snacks anymore. Right? If they have like a vending machine, and they might take them vending machines away. You're gonna slowly start seeing certain amenities at your jobs slowly get cut down. If you get like free gas cards to travel, free, they're gonna start shutting these things down, man. You're gonna start wondering why. Because up top, they're cutting the costs. They're cutting the costs, and you have to figure this thing out, man. People are, oh, why is this happening? Oh man, they took out the snacks out the break room. Where's the water cooler? The water cooler used to be, and that water cooler costs money, man. Ain't no more water cooler. And you might get cut next. And they're gonna start making decisions, man. Right? People are gonna start making decisions. This Ezekiel chapter 7 and 5. Thus saith Yahweh, an evil and only evil, behold, is come. And end is come, the end is come, and watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. And the end is come, man. And like I said, even if they work out a deal, right? God forbid, but let's say they work out a deal and whatever, and that doesn't mean that these prophecies aren't going to come to pass, right? Economic crashes and collapse are still going to happen, whether it's by means of an outbreak and disease, whether it's by means of more trade wars, whether it's by means of actual war. The Most High has many ways to induce these prophecies, right? Now I'm going to jump down. This verse number 12, right? Ezekiel 7 and 12. The Lord said the end is come, right? Now we're in verse 12. The time is come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. So you got guys that buy, man, I just bought this new house. It's going to be in my family for generations to come. Well, I bought this new phone, right? I can't wait to the upgrade. The Lord said, let not the buyer rejoice, man. See, the days of buying and selling and enjoying it for years and years and years, they're over. A lot of people, they don't like hearing that, man. Because you really love this world. A lot of brothers don't like these kind of videos. Because you're ruining their fun. They love it here. And they just bought that car. Who the hell are you to tell them that they're not going to enjoy that car for 7 years? They've been working for that car to buy that for the last damn 10 years. And they just bought it. And you mean to tell them that they're not going to enjoy that car for the next 10 years? I don't want to see that, man. People, I don't want to hear that. I'm going to stop my ears. I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive off. I just bought my house. I just got my job. I worked hard. And I prayed and I got the interview and I got the job. I want to be here for the next 15 years. Brother, no. let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn. Meaning, if you're in the spirit of buying and trading and commerce, and we have date, hey, look, man, we're looking to get out of here. So every day we're using the word and not abusing it. Now, does that mean that you're like I said, I always gotta qualify what I say because a brother might get simple. Does that mean that you can't plan for the next 3 days? Right? You got groceries. Okay, I need 3 days worth of groceries because my children got. Yes, brother, buy the groceries, brother. Don't be a fool. Should I put gas in my car for the work week? The brother said, don't let the, he said in Ezekiel 7:12, let not the bar rejoice. Okay, well, maybe I don't need gas. Brother, put the gas in your car, brother. And go to work, brother. Right? We brought the precept out earlier. We quoted it. Use the world, but don't abuse it. Right? Don't abuse it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. You always got to qualify, man. Right? There was actual brothers that actually ripped up their social. This is years ago. They actually ripped up their social. I mean, really. They cut their ID in half. They balled up their own birth certificate. They balled it up. They threw it in the fire. One guy actually shaved his head and he ran into the wilderness. And he said the mark of the beast. No, he said the beast. He said the beast is a supercomputer in Belgium. And this guy used to come around, man. You know, this is like 2017. And this guy shaved his head. He ran into the wilderness. I haven't seen the guy since. So you got to have some wisdom too, right? The Lord said, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return, neither strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. Right? So basically what the Most High said is you're not going to capitalize in the long term off of your financial moves that you make. We're here for a short time, not a long time. Right? We're pilgrims on our earth. We're sojourners. We're not citizens of America. Our citizenship is in heaven. Tell you that in the book of Colossians. Right? Our citizenship is in heaven, or our conversation is in heaven. And you look that word up, it really means citizenship, your dwelling place. Let me get that real quick. Right? Let's get this through the spirit. This is I'm gonna read this first. It's Colossians chapter 3:1. If ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. So your affection should be set on the kingdom of heaven, immortality, everlasting life, right? A dominion, rulership. These are the things that brothers should be setting their heart upon, man. Right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. You shouldn't be setting your heart on prolonging your life in America. Right? That's not what we're here for, man. Right? And I want to get to, let me back that Philippians 3. It's like I want Philippians 3. So you got Colossians and Philippians 3:20. For our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. So our conversation is in heaven. We're thinking and speaking of heavenly things, right? And we are the kingdom of heaven. So here's the word in the Greek, right? The word is polituma, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, right? It means the administration of civil affairs or of a commonwealth, the commonwealth of citizens. So when it says our conversation is in heaven, it's beyond just the words that you speak. It's speaking about your citizenship, your dwelling place, where your mind is at, where your spirit is at, right? See, it says a community, abstractly, citizenship, you know? So your citizenship is in heaven. You don't belong on the earth. You belong to the Most High as the kingdom of heaven on the earth. And brothers forget that, man. And you become a Roman citizen all over again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? Let's go back to Ezekiel, the 7th chapter. right? Ezekiel chapter 7, and I'm going to jump down to verse number 17. All hands shall be feeble, and knees shall be weak as water. And that's how people are going to be, man. Again, because the average American, they're used to having things at a click of a button. Like I brought out, in time past. I mean, you can go in an app. You can press 5 buttons and you got groceries at your door in 20 minutes. I mean, full-fledged groceries. Instacart, you got DoorDash, you got Grubhub, you got Postmates, right? You got all of it. You have so many things that you got carry out, delivery. You can go to the ATM and just withdraw money. You can pay for stuff on your phone. You can Cash App. You got Apple Pay. You got credit cards. You got food in the freezer, refrigerator. People have so much access to money, man. You got food trucks and around. You got ice cream trucks that go around the neighborhood. But people are going to become very uncomfortable. And the average American has never been uncomfortable. So all hands are going to be feeble and knees are weak as water, right? They also shall gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. So they're going to be in a state of confusion. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. And that's what happened in Venezuela, man. You had money just laying in the streets due to inflation, hyperinflation, the debasement of currency, the devalue of the dollar. And that money in Venezuela, man, brothers seen those pictures. It became worthless, right? I see money. It's like your money in Venezuela. So keep having me do that. And right? Let's see, on ground. I believe that was Venezuela. Right? This stuff is worthless, man. The Lord said in Ezekiel, this is how it's going to be in America. They're going to cast their money in the streets. Money ain't going to be worth nothing, man. It's going to be completely worthless. Right? And everything, and people aren't even dealing with cash anymore. You got Jake with all this cash under your mattress. Look at this. A damn chicken with money. Right? And that's how it's going to be in this society, man. That's how it's going to be in this society. Silver and gold is going to be cast in the streets, and things are going to become obsolete. Right? Let's pull this up. This is okay, we covered this. Panic buying. There's another article. Huge decline at LA port. I believe this is what the brother sent me, right? We got this too. Huge decline at LA port is a hit to truckers, and a stark warning of coming tariff damages, right? So again, all of these containers, they come from overseas. China, Japan, Taiwan, India, etc., right? There's goods a lot of times on these, man. The guys at the port, they offload it off the ships. They put them, a lot of these are intermodal trailers or other trailers. They load them up on these trucks. These trucks from the shipping port, they deliver these things to particular stores or distribution centers or warehouses or fulfillment centers. Then those companies, they have their own fleet of trucks, and they take these things, they put them in an inventory. They select it, they pull it, they put them on the trucks, they account how much is going out. They send these things to your local stores, and that's how it goes, man. That's supply chain. Now, if there's a decline at U.S. ports, that means there's no need for all these truck drivers. Not only is there no need for truck drivers, which is a shortage and unemployment, but also there's no need for these guys to work at the port, man. See, a lot of times your job, they might, like in time past, they're gonna start saying, we can't keep everybody who wants to go home. Then eventually they're not going to ask you who wants to go home, because some guys may want to go home, see their family. It's the weekend. They want to watch the big game. They're going out of town. Yeah, I'll go home. I'll volunteer. Hey, those guys, man, when things get tight, they ain't going to raise their hand anymore about going home early. They need that money. So them supervisors, they're going to have to start making some decisions, man. They're going to start looking at your attendance, looking at how much you get paid. If you get paid $38 an hour, and this guy get paid $15 an hour, and they letting you go, man. They're gonna have you train this guy up. They ain't gonna say nothing to you. They're gonna have you cross-train this guy up. You're gonna learn all your skills, and then they're gonna cut you down, man. Because they ain't gonna pay $38 an hour where they can pay $15 an hour. So a lot of guys, man, if you making some money up there, don't be surprised if they start bringing in guys and start training these guys, man. And look, I need you to train this guy. He's going to come in and he's going to learn. And you don't know. Jake is simple. Okay, well, I'm going to show you the ropes, right? Here's the break room. And this guy, man, they told this guy too, look, man, he's going to train you. Then you're going to take his position. But he ain't going to tell you that. So you train this guy. Then they bring you to the office and they let you go. So they're going to start playing these damn games, man. Right? They're going to start playing these games at these ports and at your local place of employment, right? Logistics experts are warning that cargo volumes at U.S. ports are undergoing a precipitous drop. This trend is most apparent in L.A., home to the nation's busiest port, and one that is first to feel any drop-off from Asian shipping. The drop in container shipping is the latest sign that the White House's trade war is having a real effect on the United States economy. And one sizable group of workers is poised to feel the impact first: long-haul truckers. That's you brothers. You got your CDL, you on the road, you go to the ports, you're going to get caught out there, right? Now, if you're in this truth, the Most High going to take care of you anyway. But if you're not, you're going to get caught out there. Let's see. I'm going to read a little of this. On Thursday, the founder of a media firm that tracks shipping trends reported that daily volumes this week are equivalent to Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. Wow, check that out. The two slowest shipping days of the year. The founder, Craig Fuller, also warned truckers to avoid hauling shipments to LA since they would have to deadhead back home, the industry term for driving an empty load. See that? Trucking volumes out of LA are equivalent to Thanksgiving and Christmas. So these truck drivers, man, they're going to start feeling it, man. They ain't paying you to carry nothing. They don't pay truck drivers to just carry empty trailers, man. Doing pickups and drop-offs and finishing these routes and going regional or out of, they don't pay you to do nothing, man. So if you ain't got no load, man, they're going to send you home. We don't need you to come in today. Oh, but look, what about my paycheck? I'm sorry. There's nothing we could do. I'm sorry, my hands are tied, Joe. Well, I got a family. Well, I got a family too, Joe. And they're going to hang up the phone, man. And they're going to feel bad. They're going to do this. Damn it. You know? Because they know they have to let a good guy go, man. They like Joe. Joe been there 15 years, 20 years, man. Hey, but something got to give. Either that guy keep his job or Joe got to keep his job. And that guy, he got a family too, man. So he's gonna have to make a decision. Right? So this trucking industry, that's how you get your goods, man. Right? That's how you get your goods. See if I can pull up a quick supply chain chart flow, right? Just to give brothers a quick understanding on supply chain, right? So you have your supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, consumer, right? This is simple supply chain, right? Simple supply chain. let's say you're dealing with shoes, right? Nikes or whatever the case may be, Jordans. Jake, you love Jordans, right? You have your manufacturing facility where they begin to produce the shoes and make them, right? The supplier are the people that produce the textiles, the thread, right? The plastic, the insoles, the rubber for the shoes, right? That comes from different sources. That comes from different vendors. People that make plastic for the end of the shoelaces, people that make the thread, right? People make that stuff. The manufacturing company, they have a team called the procurement team or a supply chain team or actual buyers that look to see where they can get the best deals for shoelaces, for the plastic, for the rubber, for the insoles, for the thread. These guys work all day. They pay these guys big money, man, sometimes 6 figures. So these guys, their job is to bring this stuff in and say, look, we got 100 pairs of Jordans. I'm just throwing a number out there that we got to ship to the United States. We need that supply in by May 1st, because the shipping date is June 1st. So we have 30 days to get this in. We got 10 days to make it, and we got to ship it out by the 1st. So they think about all of these things. Once they manufacture the Jordans, right? They put them together. You like these, you like the ones, Jake, you like the gray, the cool grays, like all these Jordans, right? They manufacture. Then they have distributors. Rather, they have their own fleet of distribution trucks, or they have 3PL, a third-party distribution that they work with. They load up pallets of shoes, right? You got the shipping team. They load up pallets of shoes. They put it on the truck. They send it straight to the retailer, right? Or they have distribution centers, which is a gap in between, and they'll send it to your local distribution center. And then they would send it out to the retailer, right? And then from the retailer, that's your Foot Locker, that's your Nike store, that's your mall, that's online, and you're the consumer, and then you buy it. That's supply chain. Now, when you have limited imports coming in, that means the first stop is just supplies. If you don't have any supplies, you ain't making no shoes, which means these guys that make the shoes, they ain't gonna have no job because they don't have no supplies. Because there's 145% tariffs on the supplies to come in. They're not paying that money to bring their supplies in. That's why there are factories shutting down. And you're gonna have more and more factories shut down. All these guys, man, that work at these factories, they're going to shut that stuff down, which means these truck drivers, to the point that we were going into, they don't have no work. They don't have no work. Go wipe their hands with these guys. If there's no work for the truck drivers, it means the guys that work at the Nike store, Nike warehouses, it means that they don't have the receiving teams and the inventory teams and the supply chain team. They can't offload that from the truck, so they're going to start letting these guys go, which means you ain't going to have no shoes. Right? The simple supply chain template. Right? And you can look at this, right? You can look this stuff up on your own. Right? The Lord said, be not ignorant in anything, in a great matter or a small. Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16. Right? So that's how these imports and these tariffs are going to work. Right? This 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse number 40. I'm going to start at 40, right? Hear, O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. What are those evils? Jacob's trouble, right? Persecution, martial law. When it hits the fan, when we become public enemy number one, the Lord said, in those evils, be as a pilgrim on the earth. You're going to be on the run, man. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away. And he that buyeth as one that will lose. So you're not going to be able to take anything with you. Your bank account won't matter in the days of Jacob's trouble. Your financial statement won't matter. Your Fidelity, your 401k, your Experian, your Equifax, your TransUnion, credit score, your debt, your student loans, your car payment, your mortgage. Understand that means nothing in the days to come. And don't worship that and make that your God, man. He that occupieth merchandise, as he that had no profit by it, and he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth, as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry, as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not, as the widowers. And therefore, they that labor in vain. And that's really all we're doing, man. A lot of brothers, you might not want to hear that, man. But nobody cares if you don't want to hear it. Everything that you're doing is in vain. Because when the Most High established the kingdom of heaven on the earth, you're not taking none of that with you. You're not taking your promotion with you. You're not taking your paycheck with you. Well, I get paid weekly. Well, brother, that has nothing to do with anything. Well, what about my raise? The Lord said, they that labor in vain. When the chariots come, it's over. When Jacob's trouble happened, it's over. Just use his word and don't abuse it, and just leave it at that. Hey, buy what you got to buy. Hey, sell what you got to sell. Do what you got to do, man. Make stuff shake. Take care of yourself, your family, hey, the Akim, the church, your brotherhood, man. You know? You keep the feast days. You gather together. Hey, put that gas in your car. If you got a flat tire, hey, fix your tire, man. Hey, your window bust out. Hey, fix your window. Hey, do what you got to do, man. Maintain, yourself, man. But do not get caught up in this world. Do not get caught up in the society, hoping and thinking it's going to last forever. Can we put a year to it? No. Can we put a month to it? No. But can we put the prophecy to it? Come, right? You best believe we could put these prophecies together and let you know that what the Most High said is true, right? And therefore, they that labor in vain. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 23 and 5, right? 23 and 5. It reads, actually, let's start at 4, right? Proverbs chapter 23 and 4. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. And we're not laboring to be rich. Hey, you might be at your job. Hey, you might work hard, man, right? You might have worked some overtime. You're sweating, you're trying to save up money. Hey, that's fine. But don't labor to be rich in terms if you want the society to continue, right? A lot of brothers, man, you want to be rich, but you ain't going to serve the Most High, man. Look, if you, and I'm going to say this too before I say that. A lot of brothers, man, you don't get that money you think that you deserve or you think that you're worthy of, or that job that you were thinking about, because it came with a lot of money. And if you were to get that money, you wasn't going to serve the Most High. That's why the Most High don't give you that stuff, man. Or you're irresponsible. And you'll gamble it all on FanDuel or on a parlay. Or you're still weak in the faith, so you'll give it all to a woman. Or you're carnal, you'll buy all these clothes. So the Lord won't give you, he ain't going to give you that, man. Lord, please give me this job. I want to make $130,000 a year. For what, brother? So you cannot come to camp? Because that job got you working on the Sabbath? So you cannot do the work of the Most High? Because all you're thinking about is how to spend your money? So no, the Most High ain't going to give you that, man. He's going to give you what you need. Give us this day our daily bread. And be content, man. Didn't John the Baptist tell the soldiers that? They said, what are we going to do? He said, be content with your wages. If you got enough to take care of you and your family, man, hey, that's all that matters. Having food and raiment, let us therewith be content. That's what John the Baptist told them, man. So don't labor to be rich. Now, ain't nothing wrong with being at your job, kind of perform well. Hey, they gave you a promotion, and you got some more money, and they gave you a raise, 50 cents a dollar. Hey, that's cool. Whatever. But don't labor to be in this society forever. Right? Verse number 5. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Right? What does that mean, man? Let's read it again. Proverbs 23 and 5. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? What does it mean, that which is not? You're setting your eye, meaning you're coveting something that you don't have. Let's say you have I don't know. Let's say you make $50,000 a year, right? Let's say you make $50,000 a year, right? You make like $22, $23 an hour, whatever, right? Let's say you make $50,000 a year, but you're coveting to make 150,000. You don't have that additional income, but you're just setting your eyes. I gotta have this money, man. I need this money, man. Gotta have this. I need this money. But here you have everything that's already set for you. The Lord blessed you with shelter, transportation, food. He blessed you with raiment. He gave you a wife. Maybe the brother gave you children. Hey, maybe maybe the Most High gave you children. Hey, the Most High gave you a job where you don't have to worry about people looking you up on YouTube, finding your videos. Don't set your eyes upon that which is not. Money come and go. That's what the Most High is saying. For riches certainly make themselves wings, and they fly away as an eagle toward heaven, man. So, and Jake know how that is. You get money, then it's gone. So you done coveted to get all this money, and you went against the laws and the commandments of God to get it, just for you to lose it. Does it not tell you in the book of Haggai that we earn money just to put it into your pocket with holes? Money come and go. That's what the proverb is saying. You ain't going to have it forever. They're going to fly away in the days of evil, and they're going to fly away in the days of judgment, because time and chance happen to them all. Right? So in these last days, don't set your eyes upon that which is not. Don't let your eyes wander towards the end of the earth. Be mindful. Live a life of moderation. Right? The Lord said, let your moderation be known to all men. What does it mean to live a moderate lifestyle? Pull this up, moderate. See if they got this. Moderate lifestyle. Let's see. Okay, what is a moderate lifestyle? A moderate lifestyle is a lifestyle where everything you have, do, take, etc. are in the right quantities. Moderation is when you control and quantize the things you do in life so that you can live healthily and sustainably. In short, to find a middle ground in life. Right? You're not doing too much. Right? You're not doing the most, and you got your car, and you got your car. You're not stressing, oh my God, I gotta have this 2025 Benz, man. I gotta have this house, it's $250,000. I need that. No, man. We're looking to get out of here. If the Most High bless you with things, he bless you with things. And some of you brothers, you have decent jobs, you have things. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You got these things. The Most High gave them to you. If you got a nice car, you got a so-called nice job, and the Most High gave you these things. Bless the name of the Most High, right? And thank the Most High. But don't set your heart upon it. Don't set your heart upon it, man. We can't stress that enough, right? Here you have, what else do we have? Right? You have, let's pull this up. Here's what Saudi Arabia said. Saudi Arabia's MBS says the world can live without the U.S., but it cannot live without China. Now, would he have said this in the 1940s? Would they have said this in the 1930s? Hell, 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, even the 2000s, maybe the 2010s, man. But now times have shifted. Times are changing. Now you have leaders who have once bowed the knee to get in bed with America. They found a new whore, the new what they say, the new woman. Man, I'll just put it like that, right? I could say something else, hey, but they found the new woman, man. China, new prostitute, a new whore. Everybody's leaving this whore, man. They've all had their chance in bed with her. They're bored. They're moving on. They're not satisfied. Now they're looking at China like, look at a new piece of you-know-what on the block. And he said, we could live without the U.S. Nobody would ever say that, man. Nobody dared make such a bold statement. Who the hell is he to say that, man? And he could say that now because the Most High put a spirit on these Moabites, man. He said the world can live without the U.S. That's a bold statement. but it cannot live without China. It cannot live without China. And this is the sentiment of not just Saudi Arabia, but this is the sentiment of a lot of nations. Some of these nations don't even want to admit it. You know, they're still living in the elder world, man. But a lot of these nations are beginning to realize that we don't need the U.S., man. We don't need the United States. We don't have to accept your foreign policy, your democracy, your Christianity. We can get down with China. They're the new piece of you know what on the block. So the world is beginning to gravitate towards the kings of the East, and they're beginning to separate from the West. You even have, let me pull this up, America's own allies. This is from April 30th. Their own allies are beginning to get bribed and coerced by China. America's finished, man. And they'll never recover. Even if they make a trade, they'll never recover. They have a bad name. They stink. And they have a horrible reputation. So now, even the EU, they're like, look, man, we're going to get down with China. China to lift sanctions on members of the European Parliament. You see that? See that? Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman says European politicians welcome to visit China more often. So they're seducing them. Hey, you can come visit China whenever you want. And a lot of Europeans, right? They're kind of scratching their head. Right? They're kind of scratching their head. Some Europeans are still subject to Chinese sanctions. Right? Bear with me. China has decided to lift sanctions on members of the U.S. Parliament, as well as on its subcommittee on human rights. The Parliament's president, Robert Metsola, said on Wednesday. Check this out. China has grown keen to forge closer economic and political ties with Europe to limit the damage from tariffs on most of its exports toward the U.S. So they're seducing the EU. See, in the EU, they know they're being seduced, but some people they just love the game, and the EU love the game, and they're going to get seduced, and they're going to get in bed with China. They're going to cheat. They're cheating on America. America knows it. The EU knows it. They know that their relationship is over. And Europe is looking to get in bed with China. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 15. Right? They're looking to get in bed with China. Right? Let's go to 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter. This is 2 Ezra, chapter 15, and verse number 46. And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. So the Most High, he's calling out China. Yes, China's in the Bible. They're the main economic powerhouse in Asia. And China is the partaker of the hope of Babylon. The hope of Babylon is to become the world power. China, they want to become the world power. And they're the glory of her person because they're allies. They go hand in hand. Woe, here's what the Most High said about the Moabites. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. So the Most High, he's against the Moabite man. Just because the Most High is breaking America down doesn't mean the Most High is now dealing with China. The Lord said death and destruction to China, man, in all you Asian countries, because you made yourself like America. That's why the president of China don't wear a Chinese garment with them big sleeves and the fan and a Komodo, whatever they call it. Hey, this guy wears a tie, man. Right? What's the Chinese president? right? I always have a difficult time pronouncing his name because he's a Moabite. I think it's Xi Jinping. Look at this guy. Where's his ancient garments at, man? Why is he dressed like a white man? Where's his beard at? Right? And he probably speaks very good English. He made himself, look at this, like America. Let's read that again in 2nd Ezra. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. Philosophies, world trade, global domination, and has decked thy daughters in whoredom. Yeah, you got Moabite whores, man. You got a Chinese woman that come to America, they become strippers. They go to these colleges and they get freaked out by these fraternities, right? The daughters of the Moabites that come to America, they start celebrating Christmas. They're men. They sit down to Thanksgiving. I saw a Moabite sodomite holding the hands of a white man at camp last week. He was a Moabite man in an intimate relationship with an Edomite. So the Chinese man, he's no different than a slanted-eyed white man. That they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. In the EU, they always really want to get with China, but they didn't want to make America mad. A lot of these nations, they saw China, man. They saw her breasts, her hips, her thighs, her hair. And I'm speaking about her technology, her philosophy, her willingness to do trade with all people, her bullet trains and commerce and technological advances. They see these memes and tweets and posts where they say China's living in the year 2050. They really always want to get in bed with China, but they didn't want to make America mad. But now they getting bold, man. And they sneaking in, they throwing rocks at the window. And China's letting down that bed sheet. And the EU's climbing up that bed sheet. And China says, shh, don't let nobody know. And the EU said, I won't tell if you won't tell. So he climbs in that window and he lays down with China. Hey, but America knows that, man. But they can't do anything about it. So that's what that means. They always desire to commit whoredom. That's talking about accepting foreign policy and entertaining the philosophies of the Moabites. Verse number 48. 2nd Ezra 15-48. Thou hast followed her, that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith the Most High, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. So the Moabite man is not going to escape because he followed the ways of America and the inventions, foreign trade, world domination. The Most High has widowhood, which comes by war, poverty, which goes by trade wars, famine, sword, and pestilence that's going to kill and take down the Moabite man. So yes, the Moabite man, he's looking to make things happen, but he's not the next world power, man. Right? He's not going to do much about anything, right? When the Lord put his hand to these nations, man. Now, here's a list of countries by imports, right? As we talk about tariffs directly affect your imports as a nation. It affects your imports and exports, mainly the nation that's doing the exporting. What is the definition of export? All right, let's pull this up. We got to get these. See, the Bible deals with economics, man, right? The Bible deals with the merchants. You have traffic in the Bible. You have trade, right? So here's the etymology of export. To take or carry out of a place. From ex, meaning out and away, and portare, meaning to carry, right? So it means to carry out your goods, right? If you make rice, or if you make, you produce wheat, or you produce, computer chips, or you produce cars, you put them on your ship, you export it to another nation. That nation that you export it to, they receive your goods, and those goods are now called imports. Now, you brothers, you already know this, but there are brothers that may not know, right? So we have to touch on this. So an import, M meaning inside, and portere meaning to carry. So now they receive your goods, right? In English, the sense of bring from another state or land, bring in goods from abroad. That's importing. So how does a tariff directly affect imports? How does a tariff directly affect you? Well, what is a tariff? Let's pull this up, right? We got to go through WFI finance, right? Biblical prophecy. Here's a tariff, right? We'll actually get, so a tariff, I'll get the regular definition. A law regulating import duties. So when you put a tariff of 10%, 100%, 145%, it means that your goods that you exported, you have to pay the flat fee plus a particular amount to bring those goods into that country. That's what a tariff is, right? So let's see if we get a regular definition. Tax or duty to be paid on a particular class of imports or exports, right? Like you go to the store, right? You buy a candy bar, it's $1. Now it's $5, but it's $1. You pay your tax. It's really $1.06, right? They taxed you an additional 6 cents for that dollar, for every dollar. With a tariff, I want to ship my wheat that we produce, my car manufacturing parts to America. They'll take it, but I have to pay a particular amount in order to do business with them. That is a tariff. So when you put something at 145%, it becomes egregious for me to send my goods to you. So I don't want to send my goods to you because I got to pay. It's not that important for me to do business with you. So now I'm directly affected because my factories are going to shut down because we can't ship our goods out. That's what's happening in China. But America's affected because they can't get the goods. So the shelves become empty. Prices increase, panic buying happens, and prophecy is ultimately fulfilled, right? And there's a prophecy of America's economy actually being shut down through the spirit and power of Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, right? Let's go to the classic. Isaiah the 19th chapter, right? Isaiah chapter 19 and verse number 5. Now, Isaiah 19 is a prophecy about America. Now, it doesn't say America in there. It doesn't say Babylon the Great, but it says Egypt. But this is a spiritual Egypt, right? Spiritual Egypt. Isaiah chapter 19 and 5. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. Now, this is a metaphor. This is a dark saying. Isaiah 19 is not literally talking about ancient Egypt. It is, in fact, a dark saying about America's economy. What is a dark saying? A mystery, if you will, a parable, a riddle, if you can understand. So when the Lord speaks about the waters failing from the sea and the rivers being wasted and dried up, it's speaking about the flow of goods that come to you are going to be completely dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brook of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and the flags shall wither, right? And really, rivers are used for transportation of boats, right? And particular cargo. So that represents the ports of America, the rivers, the highway system, the truckers. All those things are going to be dried up and withering away. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brook shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. Right. So the mouth of the brooks represents the ports of Seattle, LA, right? Like the brother sent, what did the brother send me? Right. He sent Port of LA says shipping volume will plummet 35% next week as China tariffs start to bite. You see that? That's what Isaiah chapter 19 and 7 is going into. It's going into how things at these ports are ultimately going to be shut down, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashima Mashiach Wamalak Yahushua, right? Verse number 8. The fishers shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brook shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the water shall languish. Yeah, the fishers are your truck drivers. It's like your guys that work at the ports that bring in the goods off the waters. Moreover, they that work in fine flax and they that weave network shall be confounded. What is fine flax? It's a material for cloth, right? These are your retail stores, right? Your malls, your textile companies, right? You go to the store, the Target or Walmart that has the men's section, that has the women's section, that has the children's section. You have denim things you could buy. You could buy silk. You could buy polyester, right? You could buy cotton. You could buy whatever. All that is going to be shut down too. The people that produce those things, they're not going to be able to get the supplies due to war, disease, and famine, and trade wars. No job is safe. If you say, well, my job is safe, I know we're going to be okay, right? No, you're not going to be okay. You may be okay, but your so-called job ain't going to be all right. Verse number 10. And they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make sluices and ponds for fish. Right? Surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? So the men that Trump surrounds himself with, they can't help them. Right? These guys are going to be puppets, and they're going to further exasperate the destruction of America. And these guys are supposed to have the answers. That's what the Most High is saying. These wise counselors, they're supposed to know better. They pay these guys, $200,000 a year plus to assist Trump and get policies to keep American supply chain systems running efficiently. You would think that they would know better, but the Most High has taken away all of their wisdom. This isn't the 1940s anymore. This isn't the 1950s. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of hosts hath proposed upon Egypt. The princes of Zoan are become fools. Those are your congressmen, your senators. The princes of Noph are deceived. That's your house. Those are your top political officials. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the state of the tribes thereof. How did they seduce Egypt? Because they made these people of Egypt believe that America was actually going to be great again. People actually were seduced through fair speeches. He caused them to yield, man. False promises. Getting shot in the ear. People got seduced at that, man. Wow, he got shot in the ear. He said, fight, 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 you damn dummy. You got seduced. My president is strong. I have to vote for that guy. Now look at you. Regretting. A lot of these Edomites are regretting that, man. Why did I do that? I didn't know he really was going to be like this. I should have listened. And you were seduced. The Lord set you up. He said the deceived and the deceiver are his. Verse number 14. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. And we bring this out all the time. We're going to keep bringing out this precept. There's a demon, a perverse spirit that's a demon in the midst of America, working on the minds of these elites, working on the minds of Donald Trump, working on the mind of the congressmen, political advisors, to make decisions that lead America to destruction. And it's not because they want to do it. It's because God put a demon on them to make them move like an imbalanced, blabbering, blind, drunk man. Nothing they could do about it. There's no hope for America. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So you're not going to have no job in the days to come. right? Yeah, we told you. You can say, well, who are you to tell me? I know I'm a strong worker. I know, brother. What did the Most High say? Well, I don't really have to listen to that. I work hard, been at my job 20 years. They'll never let me go. A lot of you Negroes, man, you're so confident that you'll never be let go. You think that you're, what's the word, indispensable? You know what I'm talking about. You think that you're just the top guy, and it will let you go, man. The Most High said they're going to let you go. Your job is going to shut down. Your manufacturing plant is going to shut down. Your job is going to lay you off. Persecution, you may get fired for being this truth. At some point of time, no matter how it happens, you're not going to be working. And not just you, me, and all these Israelites, man, and the inhabitants of the earth. That's what the Most High said. So just because they make a deal, they shake hands, they get things right, it doesn't mean anything, man. The prophecies must be fulfilled. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail. The head is the CEO, the CFO, the CIO, the COO, the board of directors, top, hot, upper end managers. That's the head. The tail are the guys who come in, they take the trash out, they make boxes, they put stuff on the assembly line, they take it off, they punch their card. That's the tail. Nobody's going to be doing any work. The Most High is going to bring this economy down by means of famine, war, destruction, disease, by many ways, man. Yahweh Shah is going to bring this place down. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 30, right? Let's go to Ezekiel, the 30th chapter. This is Ezekiel chapter 30 and verse number 20. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first month, in the 7th day of the month, that the word of Yahweh, Bashmi Abishai, came into me, saying, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and lo, it shall not be bound up to be healed, to put a roller to bind it, to make it strong, to hold the sword. So the Lord said, I'm going to break the arm of Pharaoh. Your arm is your strength and your power. What is America's strength and power? Their money. Money is a defense. And when you take that Federal Reserve away from them, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, America's finished. Because they have enslaved you through the dollar. They don't have chains around these people, but the global reserve currency being the dollar, Federal Reserve being so powerful as it was, dollar being, top end currency on the earth. Your Lord is shutting all that down. The dollar is losing value every day. Your money it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything anymore. Yeah, you got a few dollars, but it means nothing to the world. And it's going to mean nothing to America, man. So the Lord is breaking the currency and the economic system of America. Ezekiel 30 and 22. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I am against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and will break his arms, his military, his political system, his finances. He's going to break his arms. The strong, that which was broken, and I will cause the sword to fall out of his hand. And a sword is how America afflicts the other nations, financially and through war, man. So their complete power is going to be taken away utterly by Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai, man. Right? That's what the prophecy is saying. Right? That's why you have what? Let's go to 2nd Ezra. Right? I'm going to get the rest of these precepts. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 22. Right? You think we plan, right? The Most High is not playing around, man. 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. And suddenly, it says suddenly, shall the sown places appear unsown, the 4 storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Suddenly. Storehouses are warehouses, fulfillment centers, distribution centers. They're going to be empty. Why are they going to be empty? Remember, we went through the supply chain flow chart. Due to a lack of truck drivers who can't bring the goods to the storehouses, due to a lack of supplies, due to a lack of manufacturers, your storehouses are going to be found empty. Unemployment, disease, outbreaking, shut down in plants. So ain't no more Amazon, man. People are getting my Amazon. Ain't no Amazon Prime in the days to come. Even these grocery stores, man. They're going to start shutting a lot of these food distribution grocery store places down, man. And a lot of jakes, you're going to get caught out there. If it ain't no more truck drivers, if you're in the Midwest, you got your Kroger's, you got your Myers. You know, you're on the East Coast, you got your Giant, you got the ShopRite. You got people, they got Piggly, what's that, Piggly Wigglies and damn Publix down south. I don't know what they got on the West Coast, but you know what they got. And what they got, they ain't going to have it for too much longer. Ain't no more Instacart, man. People going to start stealing your groceries. Oh, I don't know what happened. I couldn't find it. They're going to take a picture of it at your damn your porch door or whatever. Then they're going to take it and put it in their car and run in the car. And normally it's probably one person that do the Instacart. It's going to start being two people in that car. The getaway driver and the person that got to take the bags. A lot of you jakes, man, you're going to get caught out there in that Instacart. That DoorDash. They're going to start eating your food, man. They got a family too. So if you're going to pay for the groceries, they're going to take it. And what you see going on in America with their trade and commerce being shut down, this happened already. This happened already. There's another major kingdom that existed that America, through sorcery and witchcraft, obtained their intelligence and their skills of trade and buying and traffic and selling. Right? We're going to touch on that too. And the same way that that kingdom fell, it's the same way America's going to fall. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past. So we speak about spirits that come back on the earth. The wind has a cycle that it goes in. The sun has a cycle. The moon has a cycle. The waters have a cycle. You know, plant life has a cycle. Everything has a cycle. Everything's cyclical with Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. Not only, you know, just individuals, but also entire empires. Entire kingdoms are regenerated back on the earth. So what you see going on with America, that happened almost, you know, 2,500 years ago or so, give or take, concerning the kingdom of Tyre and Zidon. America's nothing but Tyre and Zidon all over again. Yeah, you can say, well, I thought they were Rome. They are Rome. Well, I thought they were Babylon. They are Babylon. Remember, America is an amalgamation of all these ancient kingdoms that ruled. And what America has done is that they have taken the success and studied how these nations were successful and what they have done. They study how Rome was successful with military might. They study how Greece was successful with democracy, and they took that. They study how the Persians were successful with tolerance and expansion of kingdoms. They studied Tyrus or Tyre and Zidon and how they were able to dominate world trade. But the Lord took down Tyre and Zidon, right? The same way that he's going to take down America. Now, this is Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse number 2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrants, thus saith Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not the Most High, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. So you had actual princes of Tyrus, Ithobal, and all these different men. But this prince of Tyrus is a metaphor for Esau, the so-called white man, who has this godlike complex where he's the Pope, he's white Jesus, he's God, he's the angels, he's the apostles, he's the disciples, he's all of those men. He proclaims to be the Most High God. Verse number 3, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Right, this devil knows how many steps you took in a day, how many times you looked at your iPhone. He's reading your thoughts and it shows up in your algorithm on Instagram, right? He knows your blood type. He knows all of these things, right? You can't hide. With thy wisdom and thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. So what does this mean with thy wisdom? It meaning you have tapped in with the spiritual demon Satan, and it's how you became powerful. How did Isaac get his wealth? Remember, Isaac sowed in the land and received 100-fold. Our fathers, they labored to receive their wealth. Esau dealt wickedly and coveted riches and wealth and gold. And that's how he got the money that he has. Verse number 5. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. And we went into traffic. Traffic is trade, right? Traffic is not just talking about you stuck in, Houston traffic, Atlanta traffic, right? You stuck on what they call the rush hour. Traffic is buying and selling. When you have traffic in your city, that's a sign of a prosperous city because people are going to the grocery store, they're coming from the bank, they made a deposit, they took out a loan, they go into the, to the grocery store, people are buying and selling. So it's good to have traffic in your city. You can have traffic on the highways and you can have traffic in the sea. You can have air traffic. You have air traffic controllers. You have air freight. You have freight by land. So all of the freight and traffic of America, that's how they became increased in their riches. But what happened to America? Now this says tyrants too, because this happened to tyrants. Let's go to Ezekiel, the 27th chapter. I'm not going to read this whole chapter, right? We're going to read a little bit of this. Tyrus and Zidon were ancient kingdoms that ruled the earth due to trade. Here's a map of Tyre, right? This is Tyre, and this was a strong city, man, surrounded by the water, like America surrounded. They have the Pacific Ocean on one side, and they have the Atlantic Ocean on the other side, right? So they're surrounded by water, sea to sea, just like ancient Tyre was surrounded. Ancient Tyre was a hot spot for trade and commerce. When you look at it historically, and America is also a hot spot for trade and commerce. This was an actual city that was taken down multiple times by the Babylonians and by the Greeks, right? That's what you see on this picture right here. It says Alexander's Dam, because Alexander the Greek, the freak, the creep, he actually built the man-made bridge to take down Tyre, right? So you had Tyre and you had Zidon, right? These are ancient Canaanite cities. They're called the Phoenicians as well. Why are they called the Phoenicians? The word Phoenicia is the Greek word for purple. Why are they called purple? Because they were produced purple dye. Nobody else had the skill set or the labor or the resources to produce purple. In the ancient world, if you had purple on, it came out of Tyre and Zidon, the Phoenicians. The Greeks knew that, so they called these guys the purple guys, right? So again, this is Tyre on the map, Tyre and Zidon, right? Tyre was an island city, but Alexander built a bridge and took it down and conquered it. That's a little bit about Tyre. Also, let's see if I can pull this up. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you can look this up on your own, right? This is from the Associates for Biblical Research. right? There's a quick part I wondered on this. It says, let's see. I'm not going to read this whole thing, obviously. Right? Let's see. Okay, it says the port of ancient Zidon is believed to have been located in this area. So they had ports. The chief ports, like LA, is what Zidon was. And we encourage you, brothers, to dive more into this because we can't cover everything. Time would fail us to cover everything. Right? The sea castle in the harbor today was originally built as a crusader fort to protect the harbor. It is believed the castle sits over the site of the Phoenician temple to Melkart. So this was an ancient city used for trade and used for commerce. Right? Here's another one. It reads, they were renowned. This is from, what's the site? Bible Mapper Atlas, rediscovering the world of the Bible. Now, a little bit about Tyre and Zidon. They were renowned for their abundant supply of cedar, which was resistant to termites. I gave the precepts. And for their purple dye, which was extracted from Urex shells along the shore. The name Phoenicia means the land of purple. The Phoenicians were also renowned as skilled seafarers and what? International merchants. Same thing as America. America is known as an international merchant. Top in imports, exports, GDP. Establishing trade colonies in places as far away as Carthage and even Spain. The island city of Tyre was one of the most prosperous of the Phoenician cities, right? So these kingdoms were full of trade and enterprise. Let's go to Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel chapter 27 and verse number 2. Now, thou son of man, take up a lamentation for Tyrus, and say unto Tyrus, O thou that art situate at the entry of the sea, which art a merchant of the people for many isles. Thus saith Yahweh, O Tyrus, thou hast said, I am of perfect beauty. And that's what America says. I sit as a queen. Say that in Revelation 18. I shall see no sorrow. I am, So America portrays himself as God the same way that Tyre portrayed himself as God. Thy borders are in the midst of the seas. Thy builders have perfected thy beauty. Right? And America's borders are in the midst of the seas. They have the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. And the builders are the slaves who perfected Tyre's beauty. Just like the Israelites, we perfected the beauty of America due to our labor. Now I'm going to jump down. When you read this chapter, which I'm not going to read, it gives you all of the different nations and imports and exports of Tyre and Zidon. All of it. What they traded, what they exchanged. All of these things are documented. Right? I'm going to jump down. But let's see what the Most High said. How the Most High brought them down. Verse number 27. Thy riches and thy fares, thy merchandise, thy mariners or mariners, and thy pilots, thy caulkers, and the occupiers of thy merchandise, and all thy men of war that are in thee, and in all thy company which is in the midst of thee, shall fall into the midst of the seas, and the day of thy ruin. So Tyre and Zidon fell, man. All of their trade, their merchandise, their pilots that drove their ships. Nobody talks about them anymore. They were completely destroyed. First, they were taken down by the Babylonians. Then they were taken down by the Greeks. Right? The suburbs shall shake at the sound of the cry of thy pilots. And all that handle the oar, the mariners and the pilots of the sea, shall come down from their ships. They shall stand upon the land, and shall cause their voice to be heard against thee, and shall cry bitterly, and cast up dust upon their heads, and shall wallow themselves in ashes. And they shall make themselves utterly bald for thee, and gird them with sackcloth, and they shall weep for thee with bitterness of heart and bitter wailing. And in their wailing, they shall take up a lamentation for thee, and lament over thee, saying, what city is like Tyrus, like the destroyed in the midst of the sea? So everybody lamented when Tyre fell, man, because of how they enriched all of the other nations they did trade with, right? And when you look at, and we're going to go to Revelation, the 18th chapter, it's the exact same thing. All of the riches and wealth, how America prospered Europe, they had Russia prospered, they prospered China. China wouldn't be where it was without America. You know? So certain nations, not all nations, but certain nations are going to lament when America's cast down. Right? When thy wares went forth out of the seas, thou fillest the many people, thou didst enrich the kings of the earth with the multitude of thy riches and of thy merchandise. Right? So America made many nations rich. Right? List of countries by imports. United States, number one. So all nations, they live in fat, man. You can sell to America, you're doing good. They bring in, what is this? In millions. Slacky, let me go back. Oh boy. Right? Pull this back up. United States, number one in imports. 3 million, 3.3 million. Now that's from 2022. Right? Now they got, this is 2024. Right? But in America's number one in imports. So all nations, they wax good, man. They live good, bringing their goods to America. When you turn the back of your bowls and they say made in China, look at your car, it was made in Japan. All nations prosper because they deal with America in trade, right? And I had a list of was that list of exports or GDP. GDP is your gross domestic product, right? GDP, or gross domestic product, is the total monetary value of all goods and services, right? Produced and sold within a country during a specific time period. Who's number one in GDP? America. Still number one. What is that? 27 trillion. Then China, then Germany, then Japan, India, and the UK. So America's number one, man. Who was number one back then? Tyrants. What happened to tyrants? The Most High made them fall. And all of their merchandise and how they made everybody rich, the Lord cut it all down. He did that to ancient tyrants in Zidon. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, the 23rd chapter. There's no new thing under the sun. And the Most High is going to bring this economy down, man. He's going to shut this whole place down. He did it before to Tyrus and Zidon. He's going to do it to America, right? This Isaiah 23:15. And it shall come to pass in that day that Tyre shall be forgotten 70 years, according to the days of one king. And after the end of 70 years shall Tyre sing as a harlot. So Tyre was destroyed. They were cut down. Really, when you go into the history, the Lord actually sent chariots to break down the wall of Tyrus so the Greeks can destroy the city. So they fell. But the Most High said they're coming back. When? He said at the end of 70 years. 70 years. Not a literal 70 years, but a spiritual 70 years. A complete amount of time. Tyre is going to come back on the earth. When did Tyre come back on the earth? In the days of America. That's when Tyre came back on the earth. That's after the end of 70 years. Spiritually speaking, it's not literal. There's no historical account of Tyre being destroyed and literally 70 years it became a world power again. It never happened. Ask any scholar. Go to any university. Read any book. It never happened. So these 70 years are not literal, but they're spiritual. The revival of Tyre is America. We read how the Lord shut it down before. Let's find out how the Lord is going to do it again. Right? Verse number 16. Taking heart, go about the city, thou harlot, that has been forgotten. Make sweet melody, sing many songs, that thou mayest be remembered. And that's the philosophies and foreign policy. That's how they're being remembered, through their trade and linking up with the allies and all of the nations. They want to get in bed with America. And they can't really wonder. They don't know why, because they're not spiritual. But really, this is them being with Tyre all over again. But they don't know it. They don't know regeneration. They're wondering why they want to get with America, because they did that when they were Tyre back in the day. And it shall come to pass after the end of 70 years that the Lord will visit Tyre, and she shall turn to her hire and shall commit fornication with all the kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth. And Tyre actually never did that. So spiritual Tyre did that. They committed fornication with everybody on the earth. Let's go to Revelation 18, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse number 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour thy judgment come. So all of the nations, just like the ancient world, they lamented when Tyre fell. They're going to lament when America falls. And the merchants of the earth, those are your corporations, your international companies, right, shall weep and shall mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So no exports are going to be bought from America. Nobody's going to do trade with them anymore. They're going to be isolated, cast out, and ultimately destroyed. We're reading how the EU, they're breaking off from America. China's breaking off. Everybody's breaking off from the dollar. And who's going to feel the effect of it? The average American citizen. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and the pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble. Right now, you may say, well, hold on. America doesn't bring this in. Look up a list of America's imports, and you can find a modern day terminology for these things. Just pull up a list of their imports, right? It may not be ivory and wood, or some of these things they still bring in to this day, but now you have modern day imports that they bring in. You can look that up. And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. So America, they have sex trafficking, human trafficking. We were slaves. We are slaves. They conquer your soul. They get you to sell out, deny the Most High. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which are dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea. And we're talking about that with the imports and the tariffs. As many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness for 1 hour, as she made desolate. So all these countries that do trade with America, yeah, they're going to destroy it, right? And they're going to despise it. But a lot of these nations, man, like Japan, India, right? Let's see what else on this list. Canada, even though they beefing now, Australia, South Korea, Indonesia, right? Even Saudi Arabia, they bluffing, but Saudi Arabia, Argentina, a lot of these nations are going to fulfill that prophecy. Not every nation is going to weep and wail. Some of these nations utterly hate America. But a lot of these nations are going to fulfill that prophecy like they fulfilled the prophecy of Tyre being destroyed, man. So yes, you have empty shelves coming. One of the next major prophecies is an economic collapse, an utter economic collapse, panic buying, right? Ports shutting down, shelves becoming empty, looting, robbing, social chaos, murder, debasement of currency. American face empty shelves within weeks. Now they can fix this, but just because they may do a trade, it doesn't mean that these prophecies ain't going to stop. And they're saying people are doing Christmas shopping now because they know they're not going to get these things in 6 months, 9 months. Prices going up, skyrocketing. And eventually, all hell is going to break loose, man. You go into your pharmaceutical store, right? You go into, your grocery store. We could soon be seeing empty shelves everywhere. Here's which items might disappear first, right? Let's see. Let's see what they say, right? What items might disappear first? 4th of July items, back to school supplies, appliances. And if your AC go out, man, and they need a part to fix your AC, forget about it, right? It's over with. Electronics, you're going to get, you need an iPhone, you want a TV, you ain't going to have it. It's going to be hard to find it, should I say. What else they say? I saw something. Cheap household essentials, soaps, batteries, plates. It's going to get tight out there for a lot of brothers, man. It's going to get tight, but we're going to keep our trust in the Most High, right? We're looking for this place to go down. We understand that the prophecies are going to be fulfilled, and we understand that no matter what, the Most High is going to take care of us, man. The Lord said, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. If you abide in the work of the Most High, you keep the faith, you don't have to worry about these things, man. You're going to be taken care of. 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse number 27. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. So you're going to be all right, man. When people are weeping and are sorrowful, you're going to have abundance. You may go through it for, a while, but in the long haul, you're going to be taken care of. The Lord said, I have never seen a righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. And Psalms 37. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. So your children are going to be taken care of. Your women, your wives are going to be taken care of. You're going to be taken care of. Keep the faith in the Most High. Don't fret. Don't worry. Don't stress. Don't say, what if? What am I going to do? See that? And the brother just sent, let's see this. A blood moon tonight, right? A blood moon tonight, right? There's a blood moon tonight. The brother just sent it. So you got blood moons going on, man, right? You got prophecies unfolding on the earth. So brothers, like I was saying, don't worry. Don't get nervous. What am I going to do? What if the shelves are empty? Keep faith in the Most High. Have faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. The Lord said, let me get this in Hebrews 11. Without faith, it is impossible to please him, right? Hebrews chapter 11 and 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. These are the days to be praying for faith. You know hard times are coming. You know destruction is coming. You know uncomfortable times are coming. It may directly affect your finances, your job, your livelihood. Keep faith in the Most High. If you don't have faith, you really can't please the Most High. These are the days where you should be fasting for more faith, praying for faith, and couple your faith with your works. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So diligently seek the Most High. Amp up your reading, your praying, your studying, your congregating, your understanding. Go over your notes, seek the Most High, meditate, call upon the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashmi Yahushua. And the day of trouble, and the Most High is going to answer you. Verse 7. By faith, Noah being warned of God. And we're being warned of the Most High about what's coming on the earth. Let's see what Noah did. By faith, Noah being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. And this is important. He was warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear. A lot of brothers, you ain't moving with fear. You're still putting off from day to day. I'll fast next week. I'll go out there next week. I'll do it next month. I'm busy. I don't have time. When Noah was told about things that are going to happen that he never saw before, he moved with fear and haste and got things done. Get things done. Be like our fathers, because his place is going down. And with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh. Bahashima Mashiach Kwamalak Ebashai. Most High willing you are edified. Kwam Yashalom. Shalom.